Hey everyone, Roy Shepard here, and today we're going to talk about the Grayman series. In the last episode, we spoke about how to look like the Grayman, the appearance of the guy in the background. Today, we're going to talk about behavior, how to act like the man in the background. Now, it's very easy to start with what not to do. So imagine yourself walking the street and seeing some guy walking with camouflage pants and camouflage jacket and a hat and a mall backpack, and he's completely tense. He's holding his backpack and looking left and right, very worried. This type of behavior attracts attention. This type of behavior attracts so much attention that some of the locals might even call the police on this poor guy, and all he did was act a little bit nervous because, I don't know, maybe he has some problems, maybe someone stressed him out, maybe he's stressed for some reason, but behaving stressed, behaving like something is wrong will attract attention to you. Being confident, being walking tall, as they say, that does not attract attention. In fact, being confident and acting confident, most people would avert their eyes and continue on their way because they don't want to deal with someone who is more confident than they are. Today, we're going to talk about how to behave like the man in the background. So just like in appearance, we talked about the local baseline. Here in behavior, we also have to use our cultural awareness and understand the local baseline. Everywhere is different. Customs are different. Hand gestures are different. What is okay in one place means a totally different thing on another. If you don't know the customs, it's better to avoid using hand gestures or things that you think that are the norm are very far from the norm on other places. Some places, nodding your head up and down means yes. Other places, nodding your head up and down means no. So it really depends on where you're at. Now, if we take, for example, places like Italy, in Italy, the weather is warm, people are also warm and very, very vocal. So being vocal, wearing bright colored shirts, even screaming in the street, screaming at one person to another, from one side of the street to the other side of the street, or sometimes even driving outside of your vehicle with half of body out of the vehicle and screaming to other drivers, it's acceptable behavior in Italy. But doing the same thing in other places, like in Germany, for example, would get you a one-way ticket to the police station, or even worse, to a mental institution. Now, in Germany, if we already spoke about Germany, everybody there is very uptight, very quiet. Nobody looks to one person to the other in the eyes. That might be translated as a invasion into privacy. Everybody talks to themselves. If you sit in a cafe in Germany, you can actually hear yourself talk. What doesn't happen in many other places in the world, for example, in the US or even in Israel, when you go into a coffee shop, you can hardly hear yourself think, let alone talk. Because everybody is so loud and talking, and it's okay. It's a okay and very acceptable behavior. In India, for example, it's okay for cows to walk the street. In fact, cows are so accepted and so revered as a holy symbol that everybody is giving the cow the right of way in the street. A cow can walk in the street and people would actually move aside. It's also acceptable to walk in rugs. Walking in bright color rugs, either red or yellow rugs, it is part of the local culture and it's fine. It's completely okay. In other places in the world, doing this exact same thing would become ludicrous, would become crazy even. For example, being loud And being aggressive and talking with your hands in the US or Israel, it's completely acceptable. People do that all the time. People talk to one another, talk loudly to one another. But if you do that in certain places in Europe, it might be so out of place that everyone around you would be looking at you. You would grab everyone's attention, and that is exactly the thing that we want to avoid. So to become the gray man, what do we actually need to do? We can follow these simple guidelines, and basically it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you will be forgotten. You will be left into the background of the subconscious of everyone around you. The first thing is to be quiet. I know, crazy, right? Be quiet. Talk softly, talk very quietly. Try to, if you're talking to a person, get closer to them and talk to near their ear, especially if you're in a foreign country. If you're in a place that does not recognize your language, try to be even quieter than normal quiet and speak very softly to other people. The second guideline is walk tall. Walk tall with long strides. Have your head as if you're being pulled by a string from the top of your head. That reflects confidence to everyone, and most people would avert their attention. The third guideline. Many people don't know what to do with their hands. So the guideline here is to keep your elbows close to your body. If you want to move them, don't do sharp movements. If you want to direct something, do that with your hands, with your elbows close to your body. One of the important things is to stay calm. It's really important to not look left and right and transmit that you're stressed in any way. If you want to look back, use reflective surfaces. Use your eyes, not your head. If you see something suspicious, if you see a shadow coming closer to you on the ground, if you see something that is not in place, something out of place, then you can actually look behind you. But other than that, use reflective surfaces to look behind you. Do not be stressed, or do not move from left to right as if someone is hunting you or something like that. The next point is really important. Do not engage with anyone unless it's absolutely necessary. Unless there is a complete crisis for, let's say you have no idea where you are, you got completely lost, or you need help from someone because you got injured, do not engage with anyone. Do not engage in such a way that if you're speaking to someone, they might remember you. They might know that something is going on. If they are stranger to you, their body language and your body language would transmit to everyone around you that something is going on, which is unnatural, which is really something we'd like to avoid. And one more important thing, or maybe the most important thing, avoid eye contact. As soon as your eyes contact someone else's eyes, the responsive system in their brain turns on, and they actually physically move you from the background to the foreground of their thought. You go into their conscious thought, and they actually remember you. This is one of the first triggers that we have to avoid, so try to avoid eye contact. Very, very important. So now we covered the gray man behavior, how to behave like the man in the background. We talked about all the different things that we can do to not attract any attention. If you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear them. You can use the comments below this video, or contact us on Facebook, on Pinterest, or even send us an email. In the next episode, we're going to talk about the mindset. How can we think like the gray man? How can we think like the man in the background? Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. And until then, stay safe.